For hot water that never runs out, go tankless with Navien Spa-like comfort. Efficient, saves you space, hundreds on local rebates too. Tanklessmadesimple.com, tanklessmadesimple.com, Navien. So, interesting weekend in the NBA. The Lakers signed Andre Drummond. And Andre Drummond's only 27 years old. Okay, he's probably got 4 peak years left. He's a 4-time rebounding champ. He's not a guy I would build around like Detroit tried. He's a hell of a basketball player with 4 plays on both ends. He's an all-star multiple times. Got to the playoffs 0 for 8, and he's made $137 million, and he just said, 6 teams wanted him. He chose LeBron. He didn't choose the Lakers. He chose LeBron. That's why I went there. And I'll get to that in a second. Celtics wanted him. Knicks wanted him. Charlotte wanted him. There were winning teams that wanted him. He chose LeBron James. The Brooklyn Nets got LaMarcus Aldridge. He's a 20-point game player on his career. He'll give you about 14 to 15 now. LaMarcus Aldridge has got 4 more years of good mid-range jumpers. He's a 6 or 7-time All-Star, but he made $211 million. He chose Kevin Durant. That's what he chose. You're seeing this now. You saw it with Tampa Bay. A lot of guys taking pay cuts because of Brady. They're not choosing the Buccaneers. They're choosing Brady. Andre Drummond chose LeBron James. LaMarcus Aldridge didn't choose Brooklyn or Kyrie Irving. He chose Kevin Durant. Harden doesn't have a ring. When you add these superstars, there's obviously a lot of benefits. You win more. The thing that nobody ever talks about is you get a discount on about 90% of your roster. I mean, Dwight Howard was a completely irrelevant player. He goes to the Lakers, plays with LeBron, and then there's like 4 teams after him in free agency. Andre Drummond is going to get more exposure in 3 weeks in the Western Conference Finals and NBA Finals. In 3 weeks than he got in Detroit in 9 to 10 years, in a decade. That's why you choose LeBron and Durant and Brady. You just get, if you start looking at Andre Drummond gets bad mouth because he never won a playoff game. It's Detroit. They're not well run. They haven't been particularly well coached. They don't have a lot around him. They couldn't do anything with Blake Griffin. It's not a good organization. Lakers are. So Drummond's a huge get. Both ends of the floor, 4-time rebounding champ, totally athletically in his prime, 27 years old. You're asking him, can you give us 20 minutes tonight? You're not asking him to lead the team. You're asking him to be the 4th or 5th best player. Same with LaMarcus Aldridge. Could you be our 5th best player? 15 a game, LaMarcus Aldridge? So that the players make so much money now so quickly, NBA and NFL. Guys get into the $100 million net worth at 27 years old. That was even 5 years ago. That's what you made in a career, $100 million net worth. Andre Drummond has made $137 million. He's 27 years old. He's 27 years old. And so then you can just choose the superstar on a total discount, play for 3 months, the market, LaMarcus Aldridge, especially Andre Drummond. He'll go to the market after the finals, and he'll have 7 suitors. If he'd have stayed in Detroit, he'd just dry up. So the benefit of the stars, we know this, beyond like getting a Mookie Betts make you a better baseball team, players will take discounts because they make so much money early now. Joy with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
Crazy sports weekend.
It was actually a great sports weekend.
Starting with Friday's news, then the NBA signings, men's and women's tournament, and a great UFC fight. So UFC 260, Francis Ngannou is the new UFC heavyweight champion.
Is he? Boy, is he.
He took down Stipe Miocic with the 2nd-round knockout Saturday. With this win, Ngannou is now expected to face John Jones, who is moving up to heavyweight after dominating the light heavyweight division for the last decade. This was a rematch of a bout that Miocic won by unanimous decision at UFC 220 in January of 2018.
And remember,
this was an impressive performance.
Miocic is the best heavyweight ever, and it looked like Big Brother, Little Brother. Like, it wasn't competitive.
Well, physically, it was...
He is the most
noticeable.
He's the most impressive fighter in UFC history.
He's the hardest hitting
by far
fighter in UFC history.
Yeah, John Jones to me had the most natural talent. And I do think Conor McGregor was the most dynamic.
Yeah.
Nate Diaz may be the toughest, and the Russian guy who is probably, for his weight class, the greatest fighter in the hit. But in turn, listen, heavyweight division rules boxing and UFC. Biggest guys fighting. This guy is this wasn't even competitive. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, my God. Like, this is... They better have doctors right outside the octagon.
Well, they do. But what makes it so impressive is everyone knows how great Stipe is. And I mean, this is a rematch. Yes.
Took him apart.
It was very, very impressive. And he has such an incredible story. I saw Kevin Clark tweeted something about his story. He worked in the sand mines as a teenager and took a 14-month journey from Cameroon to Europe that failed 6 times and risked his life. He was homeless, and now he's the champ.
I know. His story's amazing. If you look at pictures of him, probably 8, 9 years ago, he's just a skinny kid. He's a tall, skinny kid, but he was one of those kids that was skinny that you could tell from his shoulders.
He has the gait to put on more weight.
Yeah, it's like, that he's going to be big.
It was a fun night. So Sammy Watkins agreed to a 1-year deal with the Ravens. The deal was reportedly worth $6 million with $5 million guaranteed. This was a huge addition for the Ravens.
Their weakness is receiver.
Big time. The addition of Watkins ends the Ravens' pursuit of a veteran wide receiver. Their passing attack ranked last in 2020 with only 171.2 passing yards per game. His 4,665 career receiving yards are more than double the combined career total of the Ravens' current wide receiver group.
I'd draft another one.
They absolutely should, and this was a really great signings by the Ravens. According to Pro Football Focus, they had the 28th ranked receiving grade last season. So the only groups that were worse were the Broncos, Washington, Jets, and Eagles.
With bad quarterback play. Yeah, Baltimore didn't have bad quarterback.
Right, exactly. And that's why it's such a position of need for them.
And the other thing is about Sammy Watkins is he's always been really good in the playoffs. Sammy can disappear and get banged up in the regular season, but he's got that Rondo thing. There's playoff Watkins.
Playoff Sammy.
The playoff Sammy and playoff Rondo. He has been a big play delivery guy in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they will draft another receiver, but I really like this signing for them. All right, let's talk about your favorite topic in sports, NBA MVP.
Oh, God.
James Harden's obviously been putting up some incredible numbers since he joined the Nets. Led them to their 17th win in 20 games Friday night, and he was asked if he believes he's in the MVP conversation.
Do you think that your game has grown even more since your last MVP season? And do you feel like you belong in those conversations again this year?
Well, I feel like I belong in it. I feel like I am the MVP. I mean, it's that simple. Just, and I don't want to talk. I don't want to be, speaking division on myself. But I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Oh, very controversial.
I mean, look, we like having the conversation about NBA MVP because it's a narrative. It's a narrative conversation, right? And it changes throughout the season. As Nick Wright so eloquently put it, it's just going to become a rotation. It's like LeBron, and then the person above LeBron is going to continue to rotate, and LeBron will be second, which, according to Fox Bet right now, Nikola Jokic has the best odds. Joel Embiid and LeBron are tied.
Where's Chris Paul?
With second.